What is up, y'all? Welcome back. We have a red dot video for you today, but it's going to be on a shotgun. You usually see these things on pistols, a lot of them on rifles, also different kind on rifles. But this type right here is usually seen on a defensive or a target, maybe a competition style handgun. Today it's on the good old shotgun though. So what we have for you here today is a Mossberg 590 Retrograde, and on top of it, we have a CV Life Covert Wolf red dot optic. We're using this optic today because this is just part of ongoing testing with that optic, so it happens to be on this gun right now. The gun usually wears a Holosun 407C. This optic has been good for us so far. It has a shake awake option for the red dot. It's a 3 MOA red dot. It has these backup, or whatever you want to call them, rear sights, the fiber optics for co-witnessing, but we have nothing to do with that today. This is just strictly the red dot use. This Picatinny rail attachment, you can see where it just kind of hooks on in certain places to the receiver, and then it actually has a see-through port underneath it, so you can see the bead sight in the front of the shotgun, just so that you can use another option. You can peep through here if you don't want to use the red dot, but today's focus is the red dot, so let's get to trying it out on this gun today. And I really do mean the focus is on the red dot. So we all know how to use these front bead shotguns, at least most of us who do use shotguns. That's just the general way to aim down the barrel. It's kind of crude, but it's usually pretty darn effective. People have been taking down birds and deer and all sorts of wild game and just having fun with it in general, using it for home defense. Sometimes even without the bead, the beads fall out and you can still use the shotgun relatively well. But if we want to get pretty accurate with certain types of shots or with certain type of shot, then the red dot really does help out a lot. It's definitely a modern thing. It's like I said, a pistol and a rifle thing. It's the newest, coolest thing. And a lot of people, they don't want to adopt it onto a shotgun. But being a person who is hard to go ahead and adopt new technology, I will go ahead and give it the seal of approval. And that's hard for someone like me to do. I don't even like to accept red dots on pistols very much. I see their benefit. I just don't personally use them much. I do have them. It's just not part of my rotation of daily carry or anything. But on a shotgun, I'm telling you, it makes a big world of difference. I'm not going to say it's a game changer. I hate that term. And I'm not going to say that you need it by far, but I'm going to say it's going to open up a lot of different possibilities to you that you might not have realized, that with the red dot combined with the shotgun and, again, certain ammunitions, wow, you can do some incredible things relatively easily. So a lot of different people can do those things also. It's adding to who can use the shotgun. So let's go ahead and see how this patterns with just some number 8 field and target bird, dove, whatever shot. So we're about 20, maybe 30 feet off that plate at the most. We're going to go ahead and just center punch it. I don't have any clue if this thing is zeroed or not. I just installed it onto the shotgun. I'd say it's good enough. It could go over to the right a little bit, or that could have been me. That was a little bit of a better shot, but you can see it's laying a pretty good pattern. I'm not that great with a pump shotgun. Let's go take a look. Between all those shots, I was aiming right here every single time, and we did lay a pretty good dense pattern of number 8 shot. I'll back up just a hair and aim right here a couple shots. At this point, we're about 40 feet away from that head right there, and I'll take my time. Yeah, I might have had a little bit of a flinch on that one. I'll do it one more time. All right, let's take a look. So with a completely open cylinder bore choke, we're still laying them right in there where they need to be. Pretty good stuff. Like I said, red dot can definitely put them where it needs to be. Let's go ahead and mess around with a couple different types of loads now. All right, now we have some interesting stuff to try. This is out of the random pile. This is some Federal Premium double-aught buck, but it's 3-inch Magnum, so it's not your typical 2 3/4. See, it's got a pretty tight crimp with a taper on it. Definitely made to put a punch on something like deer, I would assume. We'll go ahead and load 2 of these up. And yeah, let's just see how this stuff shoots. I have no idea what it's actually made for, but like I said, probably deer. Wow, that's exactly where I was aiming. That's pretty cool. That's a lot of payload delivered right there. I'm going to aim right for the middle of that face right there. Wow, well, let's take a look at that. So I do see buffer laying all over the place. That's these little tiny white things that are looking like sand. So that was definitely a premium ammunition. You could see that was a great pattern. They had a really nice wad. That would be a good one for home defense. It actually wasn't too hard on the shoulder, but you can see with the red dot, you can definitely put it where you want to put it. And the thing is that I just zeroed this thing. I kind of bore sighted it in the kitchen, actually, across the line of the couch and this and that. So just messing around, lining it up, making it mimic how I lined up the hollow sun before, it works. I don't even have to adjust it at all. So let's trade up shot shells one more time. All right, let's move on to slugs. That's where red dots can definitely get really cool with a shotgun. We have some sort of a Remington. I'm not sure what it is, but it's probably a 1 ounce slug. It just lost its coating. We have a Winchester Super X 1 ounce slug. And then we have a High Shock from Federal. It is called a Magnum High Shock slug, 3-inch. And that's all I know about it. It doesn't have any other numbers. It's got just your typical Foster type slug shoved in there, I'm sure, but it's a 3-inch, so it'll be a whooper. Let's go ahead and just smack the plate with this one for fun, because it's going to hit it pretty hard. All right, 3-inch, most likely made to be a deer crusher. I'm going to aim right for the dead center of that plate. Holy Jesus, that is a wow. Gosh, that thing could take down a bear for sure. Let's look at that plate real quick. And there you go. That is a serious hit right there. That was exactly where we were aiming, and that put a lot of recoil back on me, but that's definitely a pretty good splash. We don't have any denting, but you can see the splash effect. That would knock down a deer, a bear, or whatever pretty darn quick, in my opinion. All right, with these last two shells, these other slugs, I don't know if this is going to work the way I want it to work or not, but I'm going to try to hit a plate out there at about 75 yards. Usually if I get dialed in good enough, I can do that. I'm just not sure if this red dot is dialed in good enough. But we're going to try. I'm going to use the backstop here for a little support, and let's just see what happens. Nope. Missed on that one. Maybe I'll aim just a tad lower. No, missed on that one too, but usually it is pretty fun. All right, two more just to end us out with really quick. Sorry we had the failure on the slugs, but Federal number 4. This is another 3-inch shell, and it's a high brass, so it's probably going to put a whooping on this steel. That one was a little hard to eject. But let's see how we do real quick. Ooh, that's a mean one. That's a nice pattern too. Wow. I just had a new filling put in today. That was probably not a great idea, but what a great pattern. Holy crap. So very nice. You can use that number 4. I'm assuming that's number 4 buck. They had a picture of a bird, but probably number 4 buck. But very, very nice pattern. Again, the red dot, you can just lay it exactly where you want. Really takes the guesswork out of things. And there's no crazy parallax type of things to deal with these type of red dots. They just pretty much, no matter what angle you're looking at them from, you're going to hit what you're aiming at for the most part. And I know these aren't in the air because they're hard to see in the air, but this also could be potentially a little bit of fun for people using them at the clay range. I know it's very hard for people to accept that at the clay range. They're probably going to laugh you off the clay range, but I mean, obviously it smokes them pretty good. You just have to figure out what distance you want to zero it for. But those are good center punches. Now we got a TV and a clay, so this might get even more interesting, but yeah, that's definitely on point for sure. So whether it's home defense, just kind of for fun, maybe deer hunting with slugs. I know I didn't demonstrate that well, but we will do a video on that. That's coming up pretty soon. It's really good option for people, especially people who just aren't that good at getting lined up with a shotgun. I mean, this is old school technology. Everybody likes the new stuff now. Go ahead and throw it on a shotgun. There's a lot of different ways to attach them. Heck, these old single shot shotguns, you can practically just duct tape those things on there. Doesn't have to be a pricey one either. This is the CV Life Covert Wolf. Like I said, we were testing this thing, and today it held up just fine. That's 12 gauge recoil, including some 3-inch slugs. And I know some of you have already typed about the bandolier, but we'll talk about that in a future video too. Very underrated. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope to see you at the next one. Hope to see you with a red dot on your shotgun sometime. And until then, stay safe, have fun, and keep shooting.